Very much. Before I begin, my good friend Carl is going to hand out a pile of envelopes to each table. Thanks, buddy. Basically, they're numbered 1 to 7, I think. So I'll tell you all when to open them as we go along. Someone needs to be in charge of our table's envelopes. Jules? Okay. You don't need to look too worried, Dan. It's just since today is such a big change in your life, you're now a married man, it's a nice time to sort of pause and look back. Just for your past moments. Okay, before I do that, I'll give a few thanks as well, because I've written some down. The church looks absolutely amazing, I'm sure everyone agrees. The service was really, really nice. And we've got a wonderful venue here. But I was hoping that the reception was going to be at the Dog and Partridge. Unfortunately. But this'll do. So, thanks go to Barbara and Jeff, and Jackie and Robin for their efforts in organising today. And for Julianne. Doesn't she look absolutely gorgeous, everyone? Yeah. That's great. Dan, you're a really lucky guy. You know that anyway. And also, thanks to Marie, Cheryl, and Amy, who also look really beautiful. Thanks for your help today. And again to Alistair for his help in welcoming everyone to the church. And Dan, you look pretty good as well. I was a bit worried about this when we went to the suit hire shop a few months ago, watching you trying to navigate your way around the suits. And again this morning you were trying to navigate your way around the suit when you arrived at your house. So you picked out some good clothes for us anyway. I think those guys look pretty good.
You do say so yourself.
If I do say so myself. Okay, so now the fun part. Envelope number 1. Someone wants to open them up and pass them around. I don't know
until told to do so.
So I just wanted to say that me and Dan have known each other for what will be 24 years this September. We both met when we used to catch the school bus to King Edward's in Lytham from Hudson, which took an hour each way every day. I was actually in the year above Dan, but because we spent so much time together on the bus, we became really good friends. And there are a couple of other people here from school, Carl and Ian, back from those times. And anyway, that's the fresh-faced young lad that I first encountered all those years ago. So we move on to envelope number 2. I didn't actually realise I was going to be sat next to you, Barbara, so I might be getting a clout around the ear anyway. So you should see now a budding young rock god. This is back in the early 90s. We decided we fancied becoming rock stars, so I got a guitar, Dan bought a drum kit, another friend who isn't with us today, Sai, bought a bass. For those that don't know, Jeff, Dan's dad, has a warehouse unit down in Farrington, which he generously donated to us on Sunday afternoons so we could go and practice. The idea being that we become masters of our instruments and go on to make millions. But it didn't quite happen that way. There was a lot of distractions in that warehouse. So we tend to get down there, maybe smoke a few cigarettes. This isn't Dan though, this is me and Sally. We'd order some takeaway from Pizza Roma in Stockholm, which is still there to this day. And then we'd go and find some magazines in the back of the cabs waiting our patients. And sit there reading them.
Reading?
Like the story.
But anyway, not much practice got done, unfortunately. Although we did perfect a mean version of Enter Sandman by Metallica, I think. If we had instruments now, we'd be able to knock it out again, but no, not. One week, we also found a bouncy castle in there, and I don't know who left that in. Yeah, we didn't practice very much that afternoon either, did we? Okay, you can open envelope number 3, which kind of ties into the last thing. As we went into our teams, we got into music quite heavily. Thinking about our friendship, one thing that has been a constant throughout is probably our love of rock music. These are pictures from festivals, and one of them feeling a bit tired after festival, I suppose. This is Robin, unfortunately, who pinched one of my jokes. It doesn't matter. I'll tell it anyway. Basically, I was going to say that one band me and Dan really love is Iron Maiden. And I was half expecting, as you began your walk up the aisle, for Dan to arrange for Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter to be playing over the church, but thankfully it didn't happen. But I hope, Jules, you've taken a firm hand with regards to the first song you're going to dance to later, otherwise we could all be in for a big shock. Okay, envelope number 4 may be open. As time went on, we got a little older and we realised after the 90s ended there was a bit more to life than going to rock festivals every summer, so we both went travelling, not together, but when I was out in Australia with my partner Louise, Dan came out to visit, which was really nice, because basically travelling's really nice, it's a great thing, but when you're thousands of miles away you can't do that classic thing of going for a beer with an old mate. So when Dan came out, I was looking forward to it for quite a while.
That's Brownstone,
and
isn't it?
basically we went out to see a band that we really like. Can you even remember this photograph there? Yeah, we went to see a band in Brisbane. Because we obviously hadn't had a beer for so long, we ended up catching up frantically, and I can't even remember seeing the band. I can remember being in the venue beforehand. I remember being outside afterwards watching Dan trying to work out how to put his t-shirt back on. So yeah, I just thought I'd include that. It also shows what a fine figure of a young man Jules is married. Another bit of overlap here. I actually asked Carl to write a little account of when Dan and Jules got together. So I'll read this out anyway, we can compare it to Dan's version. So, going back to the 23rd of May here in 2007, Dan decided he wanted to experience a bit of the atmosphere he enjoyed so much for the UEFA Cup final in 2001, when he watched the game in Liverpool City Centre. Julianne, who's also a Red, living in Liverpool at the time, arranged to meet a mutual friend at the pub for a game. I do have to point out as well at this point, I did promise her that Dan is an avid follower of Lancaster City these days. I promised I'd stick that in there. Anyway, things started ominously. The pub they were going to watch the game in was closed for renovation, and they couldn't get in any other pubs. So basically they were wandering the streets trying to find a place to get in. In the end they ended up getting in the place they were going to go to originally. Bit ramshackle, but they got in there. But unfortunately, beer started running out, and Liverpool lost 2-1. So the next day, as Dan told us before, they went to meet for drinks to down their sorrows. Dan found himself in the bunch of a company of civil servants. I don't know if there's any civil servants in today, but civil servants who were doing what good civil servants do, which is drink and moan about work. So he must have been feeling a bit left out because Julianne took pity on him. And the two of them got talking and talking and talking. They must have been getting on pretty well, because towards the end of the afternoon they were secretly holding hands under the table. So, as far as the Liverpool game went, a disaster. It's safe to say, as you said before, Dan, as far as the trip went, a definite result. Thanks are probably due to Carl as well for introducing you both.
Woo!
So, envelope 6 nears the end now. We're nearly
Hey.
there.
Oh, was that 5?
Sorry, got that one.
It's 5. Oh, sorry, 5, yeah. I'm so nervous, I missed 5. 5 was the represents watching the footy with his Liverpool mates. I don't think the photograph is from that day, but it pretty much sums up what was happening. Evie, be quiet. Okay, envelope number 6. Now, as many of you will probably know, Dan really loves travelling. It's something that, since he met Jules, he's been able to share this love of travel with her. They've been on holiday, so they've been to Thailand, India, and on Monday they're off to Italy for a 2.5-week honeymoon, which should be an excellent trip. But when researching your travels, Dan, I was surprised to find out that you dress up when you go on holiday. In this photo sees you at the Taj Mahal in Indiana Jones costume. I did have to add the hat, but who are you dressing up as next week then in Italy? Not decided yet. And finally, if you open envelope number 8, so that brings us to one of 2 stag do's.
7.
I don't know what I've done with these numbers. Number 7. Finally, we'll all be glad to hear anyway. This brings us up to date to Nottingham, one of 2 stag do's downhill.
I think I took
The other
that
being
one.
in Hamburg with his football crew over there. And again, Dan likes to get in the spirit of a new place by dressing up. This time as a local legend, Danny Hood. In all seriousness, being asked to do this has been a really great honour, and today has been really, really nice, very emotional, an absolute pleasure to be your best
Robin
man.
Hood.
Just going to Jeff and Barbara's house before was really nice, watching you all fretting as you were getting ready, but it was nice. It's been a really good day, and doing this speech has given me the chance to look back over our friendship and how great it's been and the great times we've had. And also some of our friends who are here today, including Rick, Addy, Ian, Leslie, Carl, Rob, Gary and Dave. The stag do in Nottingham, we had a really great weekend. I've heard that Hamburg was excellent also, though I've not heard any finer details. Perhaps you could fill us in. I can't remember. Fair enough. I would just like to say that Dan is a really top bloke, as we all know. Jules, we're very lucky to have him one another. And I'm lucky to count Dan as a friend. So before wrapping this up, one more thanks, which is to my partner Louise, for helping preparing all these photographs, which did take quite a while. And the only thing that remains for me to say is to ask everyone once again to get on your feet, raise your glasses, toast Daniel and Julianne Yates. Wish you both the very, very best for your future together. Cheers.